You know where I'm heading now? I'm heading to the cemetery of this church, this old church. Looking down at the burial ground, uh, you can see some old graves. Graves that are designed in the old days. Design, you know? It's cool here. It's cool. Maybe that's because the sky is cloudy. Remember the last time I was up here when I was out at what to call it, Zone Cemetery? I refer to it as Christiana Cemetery. Remember that the rain, I had to read in the rain. So I'm gonna try to go through this huge cemetery without getting wet. And that would mean I would have to start acting fast. Down there is the Christiana Primary and Infant School. That's where I had to walk to go to the back of the church. And I saw a lot of young people, lot of young people. So this is the entrance, the proper entrance to the burial ground. The proper entrance. And I'm gonna go through it. Be careful now. Look at that. Wasp. Wasp. They must be standing as bodyguard. So going through the entry of the to the burial ground, we can look up now at the church. Uh, it designed in such a way you're wondering, was this meant to be the front of the church? I don't think so, because the back of the church is where you have to go and get in. This is the back. So maybe at the time that they were designing the church, things and time were different. And that is why maybe now, with all the development happening out there, the back of the church becomes like the front. Well, you can't change it. All right, so here we are. So much history right here in front of us. So much history. Generations that have passed. And today, we're going to look into their lives, how they lived their lives, what they were, and hopefully we find as much causes of death. And the cemetery, it's gone all the way out there. The minute I step down here, I see two graves here, old graves. All right, I'm not gonna even go any further. I'm just gonna start with the first one that I saw here. And this one says, sacred to the memory of Isabella E. Bailey, who died, and this is the side I'm looking on, who died on the 11th of June 1919. And there's another name over here, so I would say sacred to the memory of Francis E. Bailey, and that's Bayley, who died on the 23rd of August 1917. So these people, they died in the early part of the 1900s. The early part, that's way back. So Isabella and Francis, they are related and they have died in their respective years. And here we have a grave that had been battered by the rain, burned by the sun. This person must have died a long time. Let me see, I can read it. Listen to that. You only hear those bugs at night, but the sounds of them are so strong coming from over there. We call them night bugs. This one say, in loving memory of Ina K. Blake. That's Ina K. Blake. Died the 27th of June 1959 at rest. So Ina died the 27th of June 1959 and she was buried here. Her grave, despite it being tripped off, it's withstanding the time. We're still in this section. Wow. Let me see if I can make this out. I'm glad that they have done it in such a way that it's not just painted on top of this. They actually carved the name. So it say, in loving memory of a dear husband, father, grandfather, and uncle, Aston U. Pert, born February, I'm not sure what this is, February 12th, maybe, 1930, died April 22, 1995. See, this was built in this, so he died in 1995. That's Aston Pert. And beside Aston Pert is another Pert. The headstone is a little better. And it says, in loving memory of our dear mother, grandmother, and sister, Cynthia Doreen Pert, born October, maybe October 1, 1942, died February 18, 2012. So this is Cynthia Perth, and over there is Aston Perth. I believe these are husband and wife. Husband and wife, no doubt. These older graves have nothing to read. I'm sure the church have records, but there's nothing on them to read. This one here, it seemed like it had something on it to read, but over time it lost. Let me see if I can read it. You'd have to read it like you're reading a braille, like a blind person reading a braille. And sometimes I make mistake even when the words are very clear. That one over there is gone. It's absolutely gone. You can see down inside of it. Oh, oh my God. So that grave over there is a sepulcher. That's what they call it. And with this one broken up, you can actually see under that one. I'm gonna get over to it, but let me see this one. This grave, you can see this person died a long time, and what they had done is to put a headstone on it. So the body of the grave is old, the headstone is still is newer. And it says this was the original head part, and then they put this on it. In loving memory of James Miller Handy. I've never heard that last name. Handy. James Miller Handy, who died the 4th of January 1958, age 57. And at the bottom it say, asleep in Jesus, blessed sleep. All right, James Handy died in 1958. I can feel the breeze. I know, rain breeze. The sky is getting cloudier, but it's still early. It's just 10:38 right now. So I'm sure if the rain starts, it will stop before noon. And if the rain starts, thankfully, I can rest under this that they built as the entrance. And me and the wasp will just enjoy ourselves from the rain. The thing about wasps, they're not gonna just trouble you like that. They have to feel threatened for them to really bite. This one say in loving memory of Mistress Emma Handy, who died 24 of May 1962, age 88 years. So this is Mistress Emma Handy. This grave is also turning over. There's nothing underneath there, I can tell you. These graves, they buried them in the dirt. And back in those days, you didn't have casket. You have those old coffin built out of, the wood and ply, whatever. So everything under there is gone. And they use limestone. You can still see the stone. They're very sturdy. This one, I looked at it already, it's gone. And it creates an entrance to this grave if you can look underneath there. And I don't see a casket underneath this grave. So it has also um, rot away in time. All right, but this is a grave of Kathleen Margaret. I just think she was beautiful. For some reason, I just think that Kathleen was beautiful. Beautiful and delicate. All right, it says, in loving memory of Kathleen Margaret, widow of Dr. A. G. No, Dr. A. G. McKinley, who died November 8, 1955, age 71. She was the widow of Dr. A. G. McKinley, who is buried right beside her. And I just glimpsed over and realized that he died just 1 year, just exactly 1 year before her. So it's in loving memory of Dr. A.G. McKinley, who died November 10, 1954, age 84. And she died November 8, 1955. So she went just a year after him and was buried right here. I just love these kind of older cemeteries, you know? So older, you know, looking at the older graves. This must be two persons. I don't think they would bury one person in such a broad thing here. Getting closer, it says Anne E. Nelson, Nee Water. So she was Anne Walder. Walder before she became Nielsen. Yeah, that's Nielsen because it says Neilson. She was born in 1877 and she died in 1947. And below it is a nurses, social worker, friend. Nurses, no, nurse, social worker, friend. Oh, she was a social worker and a nurse. I don't know. That's a nurse, social worker. And then below her name, you see Charles Duhaney Nielsen. He was a JP. I'm not sure what ISO stands for, but he was born in 1872, died in 1957. And below his grave, his name, it says citizen, educationist, churchman. Both of them greatly loved and highly respected. They rest from their labors. So Anne died in 1947 and her husband died in 1952. One was a nurse, one was a educationist, or Look at this one. Look at this. Love the design. It says in loving memory of George D. Hall, who died 14th of November 1890. Years. Wow, just imagine in 1890, as this person, George Hall, was being buried. There were individuals standing here, some crying, you know, and then they buried George, and everybody left, and they just disappeared in the past of time, the passage of time. Some of them ended up right back here. Love your grave, George. And beside George, we see here, say, in loving memory of Reginald D. Sanders. Reginald Sanders, born June 8th, 1889, died May 20, 1890. 1889 to 1890. That's 1 year. And he was born in June, died in May. So he was like less than a month before he was his first birthday. That's why it's so small. So this is the grave of a child, Reginald Sanders. And beside him is another Sanders. I'm just glimpsing at the name before I start reading. And it says, sacred to the memory of Carolyn Sanders, our darling mother, who passed into life eternal on the 20, no, is that it? No, on the 2nd of January 1919 in her 56 years. So Carolyn Sanders, she was 56 years old when she died on the 2nd of January 1919. You look over here and then you look over there and it's just two different worlds. The modern world, and here we look into the past. People who lived when there were no cars, when there were just carriages, horses and carriages, donkeys and mules, letters instead of mobile phones. I wonder what Caroline over there would think of today's world. And Caroline, Caroline, Caroline Sanders. I love this. Look at the design. It shows the thoughts of the time, the ideas of the time, because people don't put this kind of work into headstones these days. And this person died way back in colonial days. Most of them died in colonial days anyway. All right, to say in loving memory of Ada Louise and infant beloved wife of RT Thousand. Let me see if I get this right. It says in loving memory of Ada Louise and infant. She must have died when she was pregnant. Because why would you say in loving memory of Ada Louise and infant? So it's either maybe she died in childbirth or she died while she was pregnant. Anyway, say beloved wife of RT Thousand died the 29th of November 1900, aged 36. She was in her childbearing years. So let me see what it says. It says John Foreman died the 19th of October 1897, age 3 years old. Just 3 years old. And beside him is a foreman. Yes. Say in loving memory of Loretta Foreman, died the 3rd of November 1897. So you have John Foreman, Loretta Foreman, and I see another Foreman over here and another Foreman over there. This one say sacred to the memory of John S. Foreman, who passed away the 23rd of December 1947. And here we have another Foreman. Loving memory of our dear mother, Rosa E. Foreman, passed away the 13th of July, 1961. So there are some foreman names here. Starting with John Foreman over there, little John Foreman. In loving memory of Wesley Joseph Pert, 1917 to the 19th of November, 1989. Eric V. Rochester, 1925 to 1994. He died on June 8th, 1994. That's Eric V. Rochester. Kermit Chance, you know, he was born in 1940 and he died on August 23, 2004. His name is Kermit Chance. He has a chance in his name, and I saw that Lilliet over there has a chance in her name. So, um, who knows? They might be related. These are graves of the Dawkins. See, James Theodore Dawkins, JPOD. So JP means Justice of the Peace, and OD means Order of Distinction. He was born August 9, 1918, died August 15, 2007, and beside him is Joyce Ione Dawkins. I believe this must be his wife. Born July 21, 1936, died March 5, 2018. The Dawkins. The grave of Alfonso White. And he was called what? Buzzard. Buzzard. Okay. Alfonso White. Born June 15, 1938. Died February 14, 2012. Always in our thoughts, forever in our hearts. The tomb of Fillmore Darling, he was called Martin, August 21, 1979 to August 29, 2016. Born in August, died in August. And beside him, we have the grave here of a lady, say in loving memory of Vera Agatha Smith, June 6, 1918 to May 27, 2018. So she was about, oh no, oh, she was almost 100 years old. She was close to 100 years old. She was born June 6 and she died on May 26. Oh, she was almost 100 years old. Let's call it 100. Let's give her the 100. Come on, subscribers, give her the 100. Vera Agatha Smith. All 100. I'm giving it to you. I'm giving it to you. I'm giving that honor of being called a centenarian. And behind her is the grave of this gentleman. Look at his picture. That's the picture of a gentleman. You know? That's somebody who is ambitious, intelligent, philosophical. Anyway, in loving memory of Fillmore Alderman Brooks, January 5, 1936 to August 28, 2021. And below that it says, he was a truly humble and honorable man with principles, sadly missed by his beloved wife, children, grandchildren, and great grandchildren. May he rest in eternal peace. Carmen Maynor Bailey, 1947 to August 26, 2021. Carmen Bailey. Dolores Ann Marie Loney. Dolores Ann Marie Loney. She was born January 17, 1972, and she died February 24, 2021. She is sadly missed by daughter, brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews, other relatives, and friends. Lorna Merle Lewis. Lorna Merle Lewis. 1946 to January 29, 2020. And beside her is Lena Eileen Lewis. January 9, 1931 to August 24, 2019. This grave is so stunning. It's so stunning. Look at it. Everything is so neat and beautiful. And here's a picture of a nice looking lady on it. Okay. And this book, this read, it says, "Miss you, Mom." Let's see, sunrise February 27, 1958 to sunset September 25, 2021. They have put in a lot of work to make this beautiful. Well professionally done. Her name is, and I didn't say her name, right? Angela Ruth. Let me see if there's anything written over here. Oh, yes. What's that? Virtue. So it's Angela Ruth Virtue. They miss you, Angela. Oh, yes, they miss you. Here's another grave here. And this is the grave of the same person. Say Hopeton White. Sunrise August 2, 1942 to sunset February 10, 2013. And they put two photographs. They put a photograph of him when he was young and handsome. Look at that face. And then they put a photograph of him in his older years. Hopeton White, who died on February 10, 2000. And Bernice Rose Dias, the 8th of the 10th, 1937 to the 30th of the 12th, 2008. In memory of a loving husband, father, son, brother, nephew, cousin, and friend, but his last name is Smith, and he died on the 14th of the 8th, 2021. Hermin Alexandra Miller. She died February 12, 2021. In loving memory of Louise Nessa Daly, or Daly, Daly, rather. Louise Daly. She look as if I've seen her before. She died on June 14, 2021. Louise Nessa Daly. Ruperta Amina Allison. Ruperta Umina Allison. June 13, 2021. This man has a stylish look. His name is Martin A. He was born on May 17, 1980, and he died on August 2, 2019. A young man. He was just 39. No, yes, 39. You died young, Martin. Handsome guy. Obadiah Kenneth Grant. October 15, 1951 to August 9, 2018. Obadiah Kenneth Grant. Still a cloudy sky. Still a cloudy sky. Thankfully, the rain hasn't start falling. And here I am at the resting place of Kenneth and Sissy. And this is a photograph of them when in their early years, the day they got married. Don't that just looks so lovely? All the photographs. That's them when they got married, when they were young. And on the same grave, what they have done is to put another headstone up there, a bigger one, and it says, "In loving memory of a wife and mother, she lived among us, Leonora Kelly." And over here, they talk about him. He said that, "In loving memory of a father, in loving memory of my father, Kenneth Lloyd Kelly, died October 2015." And here they have a picture of them in their older years. That's their older years. So here we have them when they just got married. Here we have them when they're in their older years. Husband and wife, Kenneth and Sissy. They look like they were a lovely couple. You know, you can just look at the photographs and you know. Those are not fake photographs. You know, nowadays you look on Instagram and you see all those fake pictures. That's not fake. Those are two lovely couples. Here again, I think is the a husband and wife again. Um, Leonie Monica Webb Pinto. She died on December 22, 2014. And over here is her husband, Cecil Albert Pinto. He died June 10, 2021. So he outlived his wife by 7 years. So this is the grave of the Pintos. All right, guys, the rain starts falling. And I'm going to read this. The grave of Inez Darby. Inez Darby. She died March 24, 2009. And here we have the grave of her husband, Leonard Roy Darby. He died August 22, 2017. So he lived longer than his wife. I'm looking down at this sink part of the property. I can see water down there. That's water down there, settled down there. And down there, you can see graves. There are graves nearby down there. There are graves down there. So I'm assuming that maybe, water probably was there when they were burying those people. Up here is the grave. It's in memory of Mr. Jerry R. Virtue. Jerry R. Virtue. She was born on July 2nd, 1950, died on January 18, 2012. So he was about 61 years old. Yeah, the rain starts. It's the rainy season. I doubt I'm ever going to get past that. Oh, this got a little broken up. In fond memory of a beloved husband and father, Leonard O. Sinclair, who died on April 13, 1974. Leonard Sinclair. This is the only grave over here with a conspicuous statue. Very conspicuous, meaning it's easily recognized, noticeable, and it's a statue of this holding something like flowers in her hands. Hallelujah. And it's at the head of two persons. Uh, I'm not sure if they're buried full bodied, but say in loving memory of a dear father and mother, grand and great grandparents, Robert O. Newman, 1916 to 1996, Eulalie Newman, 1921 to 2014. This was not placed here in 2014, so it might have been here since 1996 at the death of Robert Newman. It's lovely. It's lovely. I saw age 23 on this and I want to stop by. It's the grave of Kathleen Douglas, died the 23rd of July 1949, age 23. She died just age 23. Here we are at the graves of what appears to be husband and wife. Let me read the wife first. Such a nice grave. I love the tiling. And there are pictures. See, in loving memory of Mavis Leone Campbell, and she was called Legs. When they call a woman Legs, sometimes it's because she had really nice curvy legs. It says, our dear mother, grandmother, and great grandmother, sunrise, June 22, 1934, the sunset, August 21, 2019. And it goes on to say, forever loved, deeply missed by relatives and friends. And that's her photograph there, Mavis Campbell. And beside her is no doubt her husband. Says, in loving memory of Hugh Campbell, a dear husband, father, brother, and grandfather, born January, let me not say born, sunrise, January 1, 1942, to sunset, October 17, 2002. So he was born in 1942, died in 2002, which is 17 years before his wife. He said, gone but not forgotten, sadly missed by relatives and friends. I'm looking at this photograph and I'm thinking he was a police officer. And that's probably a police officer back, way back in the 60s. No, he was born in 1942. And based on his looks there, he look as if he's in his 40s, maybe 50s. But it's the uniform of a police officer, I assume. So Hugh Campbell and Mavis Campbell, Mr. Hugh Campbell and his wife, Mavis Campbell, both resting here on the grounds of the church here